Zende Forrester Dominguez just did the unthinkable. He didn't just walk away. He basically set the bridge on fire and watched it burn from the elevator. Think about that for a second. When he threw that resignation letter onto Steffy's desk and yelled, "I want to quit," it wasn't just some professional move. It was a total emotional explosion. It was the sound of a man who has finally had enough. Was this just a bad day? Or was it something much deeper? You have to wonder if the most loyal guy at Forrester Creations finally realized he was fighting for a family that didn't even know he was there. This isn't just about a job title anymore. This is about the total collapse of the Forrester family hierarchy as we know it. For years, Zende has been the good son. He's been the reliable designer and the formally trained expert who just waited his turn. He sat there while the spotlight was handed to anyone with the right last name. But the moment that letter hit Steffy's desk, everything changed. The power dynamic shifted. We are watching a transformation. Zende went from being a background player to a total disruptor. Honestly, it's about time he stopped being the support system and started being the storm. To understand why Zende finally snapped, you have to look at the mess happening at the top of Forrester Creations. Let's be real. Steffy isn't running the company like a CEO. She's running it like a tribal leader at war. She is so obsessed with crushing Hope Logan and the hope for the future line that she's causing collateral damage everywhere. By putting Zende's line on the back burner just to spite Hope, she basically told Zende his talent didn't matter. She told him his hard work was just a secondary concern compared to her personal vendettas. Well, think about it. How would you feel if you were a skilled designer and your boss used your career as a weapon in a family feud? It's classic middle child syndrome but in a corporate office. Zende has the degree. He has the experience. He's done the work. Yet, he's standing there watching RJ Forrester get showered with praise for basically just showing up. When Zende threw that letter down, he was rejecting a system that rewards blood over brilliance. In my opinion, that explosion was the most honest thing we've seen on our screens in months. He's done being an underutilized asset. He's done being an afterthought. The funny thing is, Zende didn't even go to Steffy first. Remember last week? He went on that huge shrieking rant to Carter Walton. Why Carter? Why the company lawyer instead of the boss? The answer is pretty damning for Steffy's leadership. She is just completely unapproachable. A real leader hears their top talent when they're frustrated. But Steffy? She's a wall. Her style is all about intimidation and legacy. Zende needed validation and a vision for his future. But all he got was silence. If you look at the situation, it's clear Steffy has lost the room. Even when Brooke tried to take her job recently, Steffy didn't use business numbers to defend herself. She used her childhood trauma as a shield. Can you imagine that in a real office? I should keep my job because I had a hard time as a kid. It's a bit much, right? It shows how emotionally immature the leadership at Forrester really is. If the CEO is using the past to justify her power, an employee like Zende never stands a chance. He realized that as long as Steffy is in charge, his designs will always be casualties of her war with the Logans. He's just a pawn in their chess match, and he's finally decided to flip the board. The real trigger here is RJ Forrester. This has to be the ultimate insult for Zende. Imagine being the one who actually went to school for this. You've put in the hours. You've done the heavy lifting. And then you watch your designs for Hope for the future go publicly uncredited. Then you see Ridge and Eric acting like RJ is the second coming of fashion royalty. They're patting him on the back for doing half the work with way less experience. Every time they do that, they are basically slapping Zende in the face. They're telling him that his loyalty doesn't buy him a seat at the table. It only buys him a stool in the corner. Psychologically, Zende is feeling invisible. And when a person feels invisible in their own family and their own job, they're going to do something loud to be noticed. Slamming that resignation letter down was the loudest thing he could do. It was his way of saying, "You're going to notice me now, even if it's only because I'm gone." But wait, it gets even messier. We have to talk about the Logan loophole. While Steffy is playing checkers with her personal drama by marriage, Katie Logan is playing high-stakes corporate and snatched Hope right out from under the Forrester's noses. She made a deal with Brooke to only hire Spencers for the new Logan fashion house. She told her mom she was just taking a leave of absence, smart and protecting Forrester. But she's actually launching a whole new line at her own kids. Brooke has no idea. Hope is a Logan by birth. When she finds out her sister used a legal trick to steal her daughter, there are going to be fireworks. And this is where Zende comes in. He's already eyeing an exit. He's been venting about RJ being the chosen one, and he even floated the idea of taking a leave of absence. Does that sound familiar? It's exactly what Hope did before she jumped ship. If Zende follows her to the Logans, it's not just a new job. It's an act of war. Think about the impact on Steffy. She thinks she's winning because she sidelined Hope. But in her arrogance, she's created a place where her own family members are looking to the enemy for respect. The Logan fashion house is becoming a refugee camp for everyone the Forresters overlooked. It's a rebellion of the disenfranchised. If Zende shows up at Katie's door, the whole fashion world in LA changes overnight. A Logan line designed by Zende and led by Hope? That's a revenge collection if I've ever seen one. It would prove that the talent wasn't the problem at Forrester, the leadership was. What about Carter Walton in all this? He looked like a deer in the headlights during Zende's rant. To be fair, that's kind of his permanent look. But Zende seeking advice from Carter shows how desperate he is for an ally. The problem is, Carter is part of the system. He's the one who helps keep things the way they are. Zende's frustration is so deep that even Carter's neutrality isn't enough anymore. The fact that Zende is mulling over his future with the company lawyer suggests he's looking for a way out that is final and legally solid. He's done with the loyal support system label. He wants to be the main character of his own life. In the world of high fashion, credit is everything. It's your currency. By keeping Zende's work uncredited, the Forresters are basically bankrupting his career. They're using his talent to keep the lights on while giving all the glory to the couture line and the golden babies. It's creative gaslighting. They tell him he's family and valued, but their actions say he's just a utility. He's the guy they move around to fill gaps in other collections. He's the perpetual backup, never the lead singer. Slamming that letter on the desk is Zende finally refusing to be a fill-in. He's demanding to be the architect of his own destiny. I predict Brooke Logan is going to be caught right in the middle of this. She tried to protect Forrester, and now her sister has used a loophole to take her daughter away. If Zende joins them, Brooke will have to face a hard truth. The Forresters, the people she's fought so hard to be part of, are the ones driving their best people away. When she realizes Hope and Zende have defected, the fallout will be huge. Zende's struggle is really about his identity. He's a Forrester, but he's treated like an outsider. It's created a fractured ego. He wants to be loyal, but he wants respect even more. When you can't have both, you have to choose. The explosion we saw is Zende's ego finally fighting back. He's shedding that loyal soldier skin. He's hungry, he's talented, and he is done waiting in the wings. As we look at the next 2 weeks, the tension is just going to keep building. Steffy is making these surprising propositions to Hope, trying to relaunch the buzz for Hope for the future. But she's totally blind. She doesn't even realize her lead designer is walking out the door. It shows such a massive disconnect. She thinks she can fix things with a new proposal or a relaunch date. But you can't fix a structural problem with a fresh coat of paint. Zende's departure is going to leave a massive hole. Who's going to design the relaunch? RJ. He's definitely not ready for that kind of pressure. Steffy's incompetence is going to be on full display when that runway show happens and there's no Zende to take a bow. It's a disaster waiting to happen. We need to see Zende for what he's becoming, the anti-Forrester. He's taking the family name and the family talent and giving it to people who actually care. It's a theft of legacy. By quitting so publicly, he's telling the world that the Forrester brand doesn't have a monopoly on excellence anymore. He's directly challenging the house that Ridge and Eric built. They've spent decades making sure only certain people are the masters of the house. Zende is the first one to stand up and say the house is rotten. Whether he stays in the industry or not, he's already devalued the Forrester name by proving it wasn't enough to keep him. What was he feeling in that moment? Right before he slammed the letter down? I bet it was a mix of grief and total liberation. He's grieving the dream of being the next Eric Forrester. He wanted to be respected and honored by his family. But he's also feeling that intense rush of freedom. Once you realize you have nothing left to lose because you were never really given anything, you become dangerous. Zende is done being the grateful nephew. He's a man on a mission. When he leaves that office, he's not just going home. He's going toward the Logan Loophole. The conflict is shifting. It's not just Steffy versus Hope anymore. It's a multi-front war. Katie versus Brooke. Steffy versus Zende. The Logans versus the Forresters for the very soul of the industry. Zende is the wild card. He's the one who can tip the scales, and he just threw his weight onto the Logan side. I honestly feel so bad for Elektra. She has been used as a pawn by everyone in her life. Ivy uses her for control, Bill wants to use her for corporate leverage, and now Will is accidentally using her by holding on to this secret. Does anyone actually care about what she wants? She just wants to design jewelry and be happy. But in Los Angeles, happiness is always the first thing to go when a secret birth certificate is involved. It is just the way the world works in this show. Do you think Katie is actually the mother? I know the Ivy reveal seems more grounded, but the Katie twist would be so much more explosive. Katie has already been through so much medical trauma with her heart and her health. To find out she was robbed of a child would probably put her right back in a hospital bed. The stress alone would be enough to trigger a major crisis. And imagine the drama between Katie and Brooke if this comes out. Brooke is always the one with the secret kids or the complicated family life, but for it to happen to Katie, it would flip the script on their entire relationship. I also can't stop thinking about the Australian angle. Ivy spent all those years away from LA. What was her life like there? Did she have help hiding the pregnancy? Someone else had to know. You don't just have a baby and hide it from the entire world by yourself. There has to be another accomplice out there somewhere. Maybe we'll get a new character from Australia coming in to add more fuel to the fire. That is usually how these things go. One secret leads to another, and before you know it, there are 3 new people in town all claiming to know the real truth. I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Are you Team Ivy as the mom? Or do you think the Katie Logan twist is the way to go? Both of them are so dramatic, but they take the story in completely different directions. If Ivy is the mom, it is a story about a twisted mother-daughter relationship. If Katie is the mom, it is a story about a family reunion that was almost an incestuous disaster. Either way, the Forresters and the Spencers are never going to be the same. This whole storyline just proves that the bold and the beautiful is still the king of the secret baby trope. They know exactly how to push our buttons and keep us guessing. Every time we think we have the answer, they throw another birth certificate or a DNA test at us. It is exhausting, but I love every second of it. I am going to be glued to my screen to see how Will handles this. Do you think he's going to tell her right away? Or is he going to try to play the hero and hide it for a while? History says he'll hide it, but maybe Will is different. Maybe he really is the good Spencer. You have to imagine the fallout at Forrester Creations. Steffi is already stressed out enough with the fashion war and the drama with Hope. If she finds out that one of her top designers has been living a double life and hiding a secret heir, she is going to absolutely lose it. She prides herself on running a tight ship, but clearly, her ship has some major leaks. I would pay good money to see the confrontation between Steffi and Ivy when the truth finally drops. It would be legendary. And let's not forget about the letter. Ivy stole Elektra's letter to Will, and that was the whole reason they broke up in the first place. That one act of theft set all of this in motion. If Ivy hadn't been so desperate to keep them apart, Will might never have found that box. It is a perfect example of how a character's own actions lead to their downfall. Ivy's own manipulation is what led Will right to her biggest secret. It is almost poetic in a very soap opera kind of way. I am just so invested in Elektra's reaction. When she finds out that her mother is alive and has been lying to her face every single day, that is a level of betrayal that you just don't get over. She is going to have to reevaluate every memory she has. Every birthday, every holiday, every auntie talk. All of it was a lie. How do you ever trust anyone again after that? Will is going to have to be her rock, but he's already starting his role as her rock by lying to her. It is so messy. So what do you think? Is Will going to be the one to break the news? Or is someone else going to beat him to it? Daphne knows, Melissa Dillon might know, and now Will knows. The secret is out there, and it's only a matter of time before it hits the light of day. I am personally hoping for a massive dramatic reveal in front of the whole family. Give me all the shouting, the gasping, and the dramatic zooms. That is what we are here for, right? If you are as obsessed with this drama as I am, you have to stay tuned. We are tracking every single spoiler and every rumor to see where this goes next. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss a single update. I want to hear your theories in the comments. Who is the dad? Is Katie the mom? Tell me everything you are thinking. I love reading your takes on these crazy storylines. Thanks for hanging out with me and diving deep into the madness of Los Angeles. I am your host, and I will see you in the next one for more bold and the beautiful shockers. Until then, keep an eye on those locked boxes, because you never know what kind of secret might be hiding inside. Have a great day, soap fans. I want to hear what you guys think about this. I'm serious. Drop a comment and let's talk. Do you think Elektra made the right call by quitting her legacy for Will? Or is she just throwing her life away for a guy who clearly needs some anger management? And what about Hope? Is she a total boss for defecting? Or is she being a coward by hiding behind that screen? The debate is heating up, and I want to know whose side you're on. Are you Team Forrester or Team Logan? There are no wrong answers here, just a lot of drama to unpack. The way things are going, it feels like we're finally getting the high-stakes corporate war we've been craving. The Forresters think they've cleaned house by firing Will and letting Hope walk away, but they might have just handed their rivals the keys to their destruction. It's a classic case of underestimating your opponent. Katie is smarter than they think. Will is angrier than they think. And Hope is more ambitious than they ever imagined. It's a perfect storm. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the secrets and scandals of the fashion world, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps the channel keep bringing you these insights. And if you don't want to miss a single second of the fallout when the Logan secret finally explodes, you've got to hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. We are covering every punch, every kiss, and every corporate betrayal as it happens. You won't find a deeper analysis of the Spencers and the Forresters anywhere else. The funny thing about these soaps is that the smallest moments, a punch at a bar, a hidden sketch, a whisper in bed, always lead to the biggest changes. We are watching the foundation of these families crumble in real time. It makes me wonder what the fashion world will even look like in 6 months. Will Forrester Creations even exist? Or will it be swallowed up by the Spencer-Logan empire? Only time will tell, but I'll be right here with you to break it all down. Think about the stakes for a second. If Hope succeeds, she proves she doesn't need the Forrester name. If Will succeeds, he proves he's just as powerful as his father. If Katie succeeds, she proves she's the superior sister. Everyone has something to prove, and that is what makes this storyline so intense. It's personal, it's professional, and it's psychological. It's everything we love about the show. Keep your eyes on Elektra. She is the one nobody is watching, but she is the one who is going to end 2 storylines and start 4 more with just 1 sentence. The pillow talk detonation is coming, and I don't think LA is ready for the smoke. Pour yourself a drink, get comfortable, and get ready for the most intense fashion war we've ever seen. It's about to get very, very messy in the City of Angels. And remember, in this world, blood might be thicker than water, but revenge is often stronger than both. Will Elektra choose her DNA or her heart? Will Hope stand up or stay hidden? The clock is ticking, and the truth is just one curtain away. Thanks for hanging out with me today and letting me dive into all this.